Well, good morning, everyone. This is Ruthie Davis speaking, Director of Regional Workforce and Business Development for the Tri-County Council for Southern Maryland. And I want to welcome you to the second quarterly Construction Industry Roundtable. These meetings were convened at your request when we first met back in July in our town hall meeting. And the meetings are for you, the leaders in your industries and communities, to share ideas and best practices and challenges and triumphs, and particularly your workforce needs, so that your workforce development partners here at Tri-County Council for Southern Maryland and the College of Southern Maryland can focus our resources on meeting your talent needs and putting the citizens of Southern Maryland back to work. When we met in September, there was a general consensus amongst your group that you would love to hear from career and technical education to find out what the pipeline of workers coming out of those programs looks like in our three counties. So we have invited our CTE providers. In fact, we've invited them to all of our roundtable discussions because they do provide programming in all the industries that we're focusing on. So I don't know who would like to start. Carrie? We did have Carrie with us. How about Michael?
Hi, I'm Michael Langton, Director, Master Trainer, and Accredited Training Sponsor Rep at the College of Southern Maryland Center for Trades and Energy Training in Hughesville. Um, we're seeing pretty decent numbers so far in our programs dealing with COVID. Right now, we have our basic construction trades core skills class. We have 20 students, so we've done pretty well with that, and those students will go on and enter into their respective trade program, be it electrical, HVAC, plumbing. We have currently 12 students in electrical level 1, part 1. Those students would receive a certificate of completion. The construction trades core skills do as well. They receive a certificate of completion from the college. They also receive a certificate of completion from NCCER, which is the National Center for Construction Education and Research. In our electrical level 1, part 2, we have 4 students that will complete that shortly. In the spring, they will get a helper certificate, which helps them get into entry-level job work to become an apprentice. Our electrical level 2, part 2 program, we have 8 students that will complete that level. They will also get the certificate of completion from the college and NCCER. Electrical level 3, we have 6 students. They will also earn that certificate of completion from the college and from NCCER. Electrical level 4, part 2, completers will complete this spring, and they will receive a technician certificate from the college, also the certificate of completion from NCCER, and they will be ready to go on and sit for their journey level exam. So that's a total of 33 students. We have 62 IEC students for a total of 95 electrical students in the program currently. We have HVAC level 1, part 1. We have 14 students. Again, those will receive the certificate of completion from the College of Southern Maryland and NCCER. We have HVAC level 1, part 2. We have 14 that will complete and earn a helper certificate, again, to enter entry-level work as an electrical helper and an apprentice. We have HVAC level 2, part 2. We have 5 students, again, earning the certificate of completion from the college and NCCER. HVAC level 3, we have 4 students earning those certificates as well. HVAC level 4, part 2, we have 4 graduates that will earn their technician certificate from the college and then get a completion certificate from NCCER and sit to take their journey level exam in HVAC for a total of 41 students currently in the program. Plumbing, we have level 3. We had 1 student that was supposed to register, and I was trying to contact him up until last night when the course began. He did not, unfortunately. Plumbing level 4, part 2, we have 1 graduate in that program who will earn the technician certificate and a completion certificate from NCCR, and again sit for the journey level plumbing exam. Welding, we have 4 students currently signed up for our Fundamentals of Welding course, and those will earn the certificate of completion from the college. And we have 6 students enrolled in our intermediate welding courses, and those will earn the American Welding Society certificate if their weld test piece passes. We have 12 students in our Maryland Home Improvement License Exam Prep course. They will get a certificate of completion from the college, and then they will go on to take the Maryland Home Improvement Contractor exam. And we have 8 students currently enrolled in our home inspection training course. They will earn that certificate of completion from the college and go on to take the National Home Inspector exam. So that's kind of our update for the spring. Summer, we'll continue to offer those same courses, and hopefully we'll see some enrollments in those courses that come out of that basic construction trades core skills course. So we're hoping to see a good mix of students in all of those programs. And that's about it for me.
Okay, Michael, thank you.
You're welcome.
And how about our other Michael, Boyle with CTE in St. Mary's County?
Well, we certainly are not to that point of all that. We have a lot of those things. Our issue is, the procedure part, the hands-on part. We're getting to the point where I really hope that we're going to be able to come in soon so that they can do some of these things, because we have the NCCER certs and all the different certs that without the hands-on piece, these kids aren't going to be able to complete. It must be collegiately, you guys have an ability to be able to get those guys in, and our kids just can't come in right now. Yeah, so we're floundering right now. We don't know what we're going to do. I'm sure MSDE and other people are doing things. We were at a point where we were getting ready to allow kids to, on their own, voluntarily come in, but with the COVID numbers rise back up, that's gone back to a shutdown. So we never even got one student in here voluntarily before it got shut down again. So our biggest issue is getting our kids here and actually using a welder or pounding a nail, or theoretically they're there, but can they actually do it?
Thank you, Michael. That sounds like quite a challenge. We also have Rebecca Pearson here from Charles County CTE. Rebecca?
Good morning. Yeah, we're in a pretty similar boat to St. Mary's. We have welding where they've been able to come in due to a lot of perseverance from our instructor. He's been getting some of the volunteer students who are volunteering to come in, and he thinks that he's going to get about 8 out of 12 with the AWS certifications. They would normally get NCCER core and level 1 as well, which is what MSDE is looking for. But they don't have the time. They don't have the face time even to get the bookwork part done due to the limited schedule virtually. Construction design and management is another one of our programs where in their senior year, we have it set up for them to do a tiny house and go through all the different codings and things like that, but it's not in place at all this year because of the virtual platform. Electrical construction, again, they're going through the bookwork. They haven't had the opportunity for the hands-on. We are, again, hoping that they're going to get in there in the spring. We're setting up a lot of tutoring sessions to hopefully hit the hands-on aspect so they can get some of those certifications. And that's same with HVAC. I think those students are voluntarily, if they're able and willing, are going to start coming in pretty soon to get some of the hands-on skills. But again, we're worried it's not going to be enough, that they're not going to walk away with these certifications. So it's a sad year for these seniors. The other thing we're really worried about is how this virtual platform is going to negatively impact enrollment for our sophomores and our juniors as they're sitting there trying to learn welding virtually. It's exactly not what they signed up for, and you just worry about them holding on to these programs. So we're not sure the impact there. We're fingers crossed, hoping that they're just going to hold tight and stick with it, and we can get them back in person and get them built up on the skills that they've missed. We did finally, we've been working hard this fall to we do have an IEC pre-apprenticeship program that's set up to start in February. So we have 15 students that are going to be in that program, and we did get approval for them to go and do hands-on once a week. Again, it's going to be voluntary for those students to make the decisions to be doing that, but we're hoping that they'll be able to walk away with those skills.
Thank you, Rebecca. And from Calvert County, Carrie Akins. Carrie, would you like to share with us?
Sure. I won't rehash everything that my colleagues have shared already, because it's sort of the same here in Calvert County. But the difference is, I guess here, even, so we have had the opportunity to have students, our seniors at least, here in person at the Career and Technology Academy since early October during the school day. So they were getting about 4.5 hours of instruction twice a week. And even with that, our seniors are still way far behind on really even coming close to being able to complete the modules to finish their NCCER. So just like the other two guys said, we, we're just worried that our seniors are really just not going to be able to finish. The teachers right now, we are back on fully virtual, so no one's coming in right now, including after school optional. Nothing in person is happening here right now. I'm sure, as most of you know, the numbers have spiked pretty significantly in Calvert County, so we're on hold for everything. We, like Becky said, we actually, the fear about losing students, we actually saw that happen already this year. I lost half of my carpentry class. The carpentry senior class only has 4 students in it this year. And normally, because of the way the scheduling and teaching staff works with that class, we normally have 10 to 12. And we started with 12 and we're down to 4. So, so we have lost students. I've lost probably 5 or 6 in welding. So we're seeing those kind of losses across the board. And those are kids that were, just didn't, some of them started the year and then just decided this isn't what they signed up for. So I am worried about what's going to happen with the current junior class. I do think that the one thing that is keeping them hanging on at the time being is, the excitement of the prospect of getting here in person eventually. But the teachers have expressed that concern about, they're reorganizing and reordering things in terms of the order in which they present things so that they can do the bookwork pieces virtually as much as they can, so that when we are able to be in person, they'll start knocking out their practical skills assessments. But that's not as easy as it sounds, because obviously those two pieces are meant to go together. So teaching wise, it's not as simple as just, completely splitting them off. So that's, and just, we have welding, which does not follow, ours is a independent program. So it's our own program of study. So we do AWS certs, but we do not do NACER in our welding classes. But we do use NACER in our HVAC, plumbing, carpentry, electricity, and we also have a program called Home Improvement, which kind of gives kids an overview of each trade. And then in the second year, there's a building maintenance NACER curriculum that they use. So that's what we have going on here.
Thank you, Carrie. I'm wondering, these students who aren't able to get their certifications due to no fault of their own, will they still graduate?
Yeah, they'll still graduate. We, we always say, although, typically the expectations are tied together so that, completing those things are part of what they do for the classwork. We don't, there's no, technically speaking, here at least, the certification and the actual course grade and credit are separate things.
Okay. All right. Do any of our industry partners have any questions for our CTE providers or the trades group at College of Southern Maryland? Feel free to unmute and ask a question or put it in the chat box. Any questions? Observations?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
My question is for the seniors who are graduating, and I'm going to specifically talk about electrical. How can we reach out to them to try and get them to apply to the existing apprenticeship programs?
I mean, I'll start. We have a job placement coordinator here at CTA, so I'd be happy to take your contact information. We can get you time if you can handle the Teams thing. We can get you into a class and you can present to them, or you can work with her other ways that we share that with students. So we'd be happy to have you.
I mean, that would be fantastic for us. I mean, that has been, I think, as most of the programs, and I'm putting my information in the chat box. That's the biggest problem I think most of us on the business side are having is we're used to coming out to the schools, right, and doing presentations, and now it's been really hard to. I know the instructors are doing more than they've ever done, so it's just we're not getting the responsiveness from a lot of the people, from a lot of the instructors.
Same with Charles County. We can get you into the classroom so you can get into one of Keith's classes.
Becky, you guys are good. It's been the other counties.
Okay.
For each of the CTE providers, are you planning a job fair toward the end of their senior year? Can you tell us about that?
Yes, actually we are. We just started to meet about ours. It'll probably be in late April. So we're planning to do it virtually. I think right now the format is going to be that we are going to be asking our business partners to provide a short informative video, and then we'll be setting up Q&A appointment times, kind of to start every half hour for a certain amount of time for students or parents to come on and ask specific questions based on the videos that they view. So we're starting to get that together and reach out to different companies. So I can also put my information in the chat if you're willing and interested in being a part of that career fair for Charles County. Then you can send me an email and we can get you involved with that.
Same here, and I think I'm going to defer to, I think she's on. Ms. Hobbs, are you on? If so, do you want to share about our job fair?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning, everybody. Our job fair is actually going to be held during a week in March, beginning March 22nd, and we are following a very similar format. Employers will be coming in and doing some sort of presentation virtually, and then a question and answer session after that. And that's about the best we can do. So we are very happy to entertain all people who are interested in participating. So please get in touch with us.
And how about in St. Mary's?
Sorry, I was literally writing an email to give Mike Town Grant's information and asking him to go ahead and contact him. So, and I am not sure if Bonnie Kelly's on here. She might have a better idea of exactly when we're going to do those. We have our virtual basically open house on Thursday. So we've all been really busy with that. So I'm not sure if she has, I know that we have planned to have, some sort of job fair. Bonnie, if you are on here, maybe you can jump in if you know that date. If not, we can get that out to people as we figure it out.
Yeah, I do not know yet. Still, again, like you just said, our Tech Expo is tomorrow night, so all energy has been focused there. And then once we get through that, we can start working on job fairs and things like that for the spring. Virtual job fairs for the spring.
I would like to offer as well, in our workforce division at the Tri-County Council for Southern Maryland, we have a business engagement and development team. And Carrie, we've had a brief conversation and we'll have a follow-on with you, but I would like to also have a conversation with Becky and with you, Michael, about how we might assist in engaging employers for your efforts in the spring. Our guru of everything job fair is Yvette Turner. She's a business engagement specialist. And Yvette, would you say a few words, and would you then put your information in the chat box?
Good morning, everyone. Yes, it's exciting to hear that Charles and Calvert have some dates in mind in St. Mary's. I'm definitely open, and myself and Jackie, who is the industry focused business engagement colleague of mine, and we would be more than happy to work with you to assist in getting the business engagement. We've had great success in our previous job fairs, both virtual and online, especially in the construction industry for participants. So just forward us that information and we will network with the businesses to get participation for you. And then also with the job seekers. And yes, I'll put my information in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Yvette. Okay, any other CTE related questions or anything else you'd like to explore? Okay, Ellen Flowers Fields, would you like to take it from here?
Certainly, and good morning to everyone again. So, I have the illustrious job of helping to lead all of you through a conversation. As Ruthie mentioned at the onset of this discussion, these roundtables are really for you as industry leaders, an opportunity for you to inform us of the challenges that you're having as it relates to your industry or your workplace, so that we as a regional workforce system can work together to help find solutions and responses to the information and needs that you have. So we would really like the opportunity to open the floor and to hear more from you, any thoughts, concerns, or issues that you'd like to raise for discussion amongst the group. Okay. So Ruthie, it doesn't sound like there's anything of burning issue or concern right now. I do just want to comment that you've heard from all of the education partners on this call about the pipeline of available workers. So if you have imminent employment needs, please reach out to both of the Michaels, from Michael Boyle and Michael Langston, and certainly to Carrie Akins and to our representatives in Charles County, Rebecca Pearson, and talk with us about your needs, because these individuals have invested time and resources to get the education to enter into the construction industry because they're interested in it. And we certainly want to have them connected to employment opportunities as soon as possible. So Ruthie, were you going to talk a little bit about Skill Up today?
Yes, I'd love to.
Great.
I'd
I
love
don't have
to.
any questions. Mhm.
All right, we have a brief presentation to share with you. Sandy, if you could pull that up. Okay, so over the past several months, these town halls and roundtables have certainly brought to light the challenges that your industry currently faces. And one of the biggest challenges is the loss of skilled workers, the loss of those engaged in education to become skilled workers, um, and the lack of applicants in many of your industries. We heard that both in July and September when we met as a group. So we searched for a solution to help skill up the workforce, allowing them to obtain an industry recognized certification on their own, saving employer money, or train towards an industry recognized certification from the comfort of their own home, even during COVID, and when their schedule allows. And that solution is Skill Up Southern Maryland. Let's take a couple of minutes to view a video on what Skill Up Southern Maryland is, and then we'll take you through a brief overview of the platform.
Communities across the country are facing unprecedented challenges due to the coronavirus. Millions of Americans are losing jobs as businesses struggle to generate revenue. The majority still working are doing so from home. As history has shown with previous crises, we will pull through this together. Our career centers are here to help you prepare now for the eventual economic turnaround. With a large portion of our community expected to be home for the next several months, we are extending access to the Skill Up program to our unemployed residents and local employers. Skill Up offers the opportunity to update your existing job skills, learn new skills, and even pursue an industry-recognized certification as you prepare to head back to work. The program provides access to over 5,000 courses, training for over 100 certifications, and is accessible from anywhere with internet access 24/7. If you're interested, please visit this site for more information.
Thank you, Sandy. Next slide, please. So here's what the landing page looks like, along with tools for job seekers, which you can click on as a job seeker, or employers. There's resources for employers to assist with recruitment, hiring, and internal training of their incumbent employees. And here are some highlights of the program. As was said in the video, 5,000 plus courses. These are free to any resident in Southern Maryland. They can self-register at this website, and Sandy will be putting all of this in the chat and following up following this meeting with the information. It's a self-paced online portal available 24/7, and you can work on job skills, software, and more, and work towards 100 plus industry recognized certifications. This page shows the resources for job seekers. They can upgrade their skills, explore career pathways, and work towards industry certifications simply by self-registering for free. They're able to search for local job listings and find information on connecting with our local career centers for additional resources. Once registered, it will bring them to this screen where they then select if they would like to explore a particular industry path they're interested in, or browse the catalog of individual courses available if they want to sharpen up their skills and not necessarily work towards a certification, or they can job search. If the individual chooses to work toward obtaining an industry certification, this guides them through the process. After they take a brief 25-question survey that indicates their skill levels in specific areas, anywhere from office technology, ethics, customer service, construction, specific IT areas, and more, they then choose the specific industry path, such as construction, and their desired occupation. Inputting this information will then generate a skills progress chart, which you can see there, the pie-looking chart, based on the information provided in the assessment. Green shows that the individual has an overage of skills for that occupation. Blue meets the skill requirements, and red indicates where the skills gaps are. It will then populate their career pathway with the courses and skills needed to turn those red areas to blue or green and needed to pursue their certification. Here you will see just a few of the industry pathways for construction and occupations contained therein. And the list is a lot longer than what that slide captures. So finally, Skill Up Southern Maryland was officially launched yesterday and is available for anyone living in Southern Maryland. The website link as well as the video link will be shared in the chat as well as in a follow-up email. And this is just one way that workforce development is working toward filling your pipeline with skilled applicants. Does anyone have any questions about Skill Up Southern Maryland?
I do have a quick question.
Yes.
And you may have even told us this last time, and I'm not sure. But now that you're saying it's up and running, if I send this link over to some teachers and we try to pilot a little bit of it, they want to get into it, do the kids, how do they get there? Do they create an account and then they go forward? How is it that we can watch that?
They click on that link that's going to go in the chat box.
Right.
And they self-register.
Okay.
And it's a very easy process from what I understand. Sandy, would you like to add anything about the way to join in to Skill Up?
Sure, exactly like you said, Ruthie. They simply click on that button that says Job Seekers. It will take them to the Register for Free page. They click there. They'll add their information in, and then they'll become registered. It's just that simple. If they do run into any problems, there is a help button or a help support that they can go directly to the company with Skill Up, as well as the workforce. We're here for them as well. So it is very simple to register.
Do you happen to know, I don't know, Sandy, if you know enough about the background workings of it, or who might, is there a VPAT for the site? Because I would have to have it go through accessibility and privacy checks before. I would love to use it with students, but I would have to vet it through that process.
That I don't know offhand, but I'd be happy to find out for you.
That would be great.
Carrie, what was that question again? Is there a what?
It's called a VPAT. It's a kind of standardized form that just details that the site meets privacy and accessibility standards.
Okay. We will take that question directly to the vendor. The vendor for this platform is Metrics Learning. And this has been deployed almost throughout the entire United States. In fact, I think it's the state of either New Hampshire or Connecticut has made it available to everyone in the state. And we're working on Maryland Labor to try and do the same thing here in Maryland. There are 2 workforce areas in Maryland, us and Prince George's, that currently have this platform. But we will find that out for you. Any other questions or comments about Skill Up Southern Maryland?
I have one. Is there a limit? I mean, I know it's free, but let's say somebody wants to go in there and they start training and then they realize, well, maybe this isn't what I want to do. I mean, can they switch and go to a different training?
Yes, they can. And
Okay.
once they register, it's available to them for, Sandy, I believe it's 180 days.
Yes, I believe you're correct.
Yeah, they can explore anything they want within the platform.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you. We appreciate the opportunity. You're the first group to hear that the official launch was made yesterday. Tri-County Council did put out some press releases or reached out to the media with press releases. So we'll see if anything hits the media. And we sent out a piece to over 7,000 Southern Maryland residents who are currently collecting unemployment insurance because they've been displaced. So I also reached out to the 3 county administrators. They're going to help county government get the word out. The 3 economic development departments and the 4 chambers of commerce and the business alliance. So if you can help us spread the word as well, we would certainly appreciate it on your social media outlets or in whatever way you can get the word out. Ellen, might you have some closing remarks?
Well, first of all, Ruthie, I just wanted to share that Charles County Economic Development just sent out their business updates newsletter, and information regarding Skill Up is in that newsletter. So it's good. The partners are getting the word out. I just saw it come through on the email. And I just want to thank everyone for your continued participation in these very, very important discussions. Our goal is to get as many Southern Marylanders back to work as possible. And we know that there are critical skills needs in each of the industry groups that we've been addressing over the last several months. So we just encourage you, as you continue to think of topics that you'd like to have us discuss or address, or regional collaborations you think need to be put in place or strengthened. We'd love to be able to facilitate those conversations with you in this group to really address our community-wide needs. So we just want to continue to thank all of you for your commitment to participating in these initiatives. And then the last thing I want to mention is that many of you should have received an invitation to an upcoming all-day boot camp that we're facilitating with ACT, that's focused on the National Career Readiness Assessment and our region's efforts towards becoming a work-ready community. If you have any questions about that meeting, about the purpose and what we're working to accomplish as a region, please feel free to give me a call or shoot me an email. I'll be happy to provide more information in detail, but if you do plan to attend, I do need to hear from you this week so that we can make sure that you are registered and get the virtual link for access to the meeting as it's being held on the 29th. So we look forward to participation in that. And then Ruthie, I see 2 hands up. We got Carrie Aikens first and then Bonnie Kelly. So Carrie.
Just really quickly, I would love to have, if you have like a flyer, I actually was thinking as we were talking, I'd like to send it over to central office and see if it's something we can push out to our parents. Because of course, at the school level, we hear a lot now from parents who've been really impacted by job loss and things like that since the pandemic. So we may find that it could really reach some people, parents and whatnot.
You referring to the Skill Up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sure. In fact, if we don't really have a flyer, I don't think, Sandy, do we? But we have the press release and we have the information that went out to the 7,000 plus unemployed. So I will send that your way. In fact, I'll send it out to this group after the meeting.
And excuse me, Ruthie, if I could jump in. The business engagement team is working on a flyer and we'll have that available by 12 noon today. Wonderful.
Thank you, Yvette.
And then Bonnie, if you would unmute.
Hello again. I just wanted to, and I've talked about this in our other meetings, that St. Mary's, as part of the Apprenticeship Maryland program through MSDE and the Department of Labor. And any of the employers that may be on, really apprenticeship is a great way to get these kids in high school and get them trained and get them to want to stay in the job. So it's a great tool to use. We don't have a lot of employers for carpentry, or any employers for carpentry. So if anyone's interested in that, and we've been more than happy to work with you to see you get set up with Apprenticeship Maryland. And the other, along with Apprenticeship Maryland, we also have Tech Jobs Rule, which is apprenticeship program that does a lot with the base, but electrical wiring is part of that. So I don't know if Mary Jane or Mary Kay want to click on and talk about Tech Jobs Rule.
So this is Mary Kay Myers. I'm with the Patuxent Partnership. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
We hear you, Mary Kay.
Thank you. This platform's new to me, but definitely Tech Jobs Rule is a program that we've partnered with NOC AD, the Forest Tech Center, and the Patuxent Partnership, trying to match up the demand signals from industry. Most of them are the defense industry, but as Bonnie Kelly said, many of the places on base, the contractors that support the base, they do need electrical wiring for airplanes is a little bit different than households, but the base skills are the same. So we started this as a pilot program, definitely got slowed down by COVID, as everyone else has been mentioning. But we have right now, I think, 4 employers that are participating actively with a student in the apprentice program. We are going to be launching out in the spring our full-fledged to contractors and saying, how can we match up students from the tech center with businesses and support this program? Mary Jane Self, who's on this call, is our apprenticeship coordinator. So we work very closely with the Forest Tech Center and trying to get students placed out there. Once they graduate, certainly there's been success with them staying on with those employers, but they would be able to go to other places. Also want to match up, and then develop their skills at College of Southern Maryland and et cetera. Happy to talk to anyone about that. Thank you.
Has there been an issue with security clearances in that program?
There is, if you need to get access to what they call NMCI, which is the database that the contractors in the base use. So those folks need to be 18, but we found ways to employ students by the contracting community. And also the base 2 years ago, they weren't able to do it this year because of COVID. But they have found ways and types of jobs that students that don't have 18 and don't have a clearance can work.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bill, I see your hand. If you would unmute and share your thoughts.
Yes, ma'am. How are you guys today?
Great, thank you.
Good. I am a concrete contractor. This is the first time I've logged in and listened to this. And I think there's some great programs that you guys are trying to implement at your level. Without sounding negative, we have a major problem within the construction industries. And the largest problem we are addressed with is finding willing workers, not necessarily educated, not necessarily trained, or those that have certificates, but a simple willingness to actually work. That is why the majority of our industries now employ Hispanics. Mm-hmm. Because when they come here, they're, for lack of better words, hungry and willing to do just about any job they can take. And once they enter that workforce and actually show that they're willing to perform some physical activities, then they can learn. And we seem to have a very hard time getting our I guess I would say American employees to want to physically work without the constant issues of cell phone usage and tardiness and just blatant disregard for wanting to work. So, like, once again, without saying negative, but it's a huge problem within the industry. And if you would talk to a lot of the business owners and could have a personal relationship, because most of them won't say what I'm saying to educators and higher ups. But I think it begins before they get in ninth grade. It's a raising issue. I mean, I have 4 children, and one works hard, the other 3 do not. It goes a little bit deeper than just offering them the opportunity to, because some will accept your classes and some will do well and move on to union type jobs or base type jobs. But I think as educators, you guys are offering these programs, but I think there's a little bit more needs to be put into their junior years of school somehow to convince them that the trades can be good for them. A lot of the trades, especially electrical, plumbing, welding, HVAC, they're very good paying jobs, and they're getting better and better and better. But we can't seem to get them in at the entry level. And even though they may have some certifications, there's still a lack of desire to actually work. I guess a work ethic is our issue here. So maybe somehow that can be incorporated into their education and their learning. And I know that's very hard for you guys to do when you have them for like an hour a day within their welding class or something like that. That's really all I have to say. I apologize if I sound negative, but I also think it's very important that as you guys try so hard and put so much effort into figuring this thing out, that a lot of it comes back to, it's not the matter of whether you offered it to them or you could give them the best education there possibly is. We've also in this country, I'm 56 years old, and as I was wrapping up high school and everything, the whole push, everything that was basically told to us by our educators is you need to go to college and get a college education. And that's very important because we need that. But I think we've created a drain of our tradesmen workforce over the years. And now the majority of our children want to go to college, and oftentimes they're getting these degrees and they can't get a decent paying job, as to where we could have convinced them to go into, say, maybe the elevator union, where they could be making $120,000 a year. They might have had a better life. That's really all I have to say without just rambling. I just wanted to bring it to the attention that, you know, there's other issues involved here other than just a matter of whether we can just get these kids to sign up for some courses.
Bill, your comments are, you know, thank you for saying that, first of all. And I see a couple of hands up, so I know people want to comment. I think what you're saying is it's really hitting the construction industry, but it's not unique to the construction industry. It is certainly something that we're hearing across the board in the skilled trades. And I think that there are a number of factors. Many of those that you hit upon, some of it has to do with work ethic, you know, and the emphasis being placed on career and technical education in some communities versus others. I think also there's been outside of unionized work, there hasn't been a large scale level of embracing internships and on-the-job training opportunities and pre-apprenticeship opportunities in industries as there were years and years ago. So, you know, learning something in a classroom, even with hands-on opportunity, was very different from getting out there on the work site, standing shoulder by shoulder with more experienced workers and really learning what the day-to-day rigor of the type of work you're learning in the classroom is. And so that's why I know we as educators are working really hard to try to build relationships with industry where that experiential learning on the job is happening alongside the classroom learning. Because, you know, a lot of young people, you know, even some adults, they're taking training based upon what they think might be a good job or what someone told them should be a good job, not necessarily because they fully understand what's required to hold down the type of job that they're getting training in. And so we sometimes lose those candidates that we're training in these very skilled areas. So that connection to the labor force is critical, and the partnerships that we're hoping to build through these forums with industry becomes critical for ensuring that pipeline that's coming out possesses the type of skills that you're talking about. So I want to, in order of the hands that went up, I want to have Carrie and then Mary Jane make your comments also.
Ellen, you definitely hit some of those things that I was thinking as well. You know, first of all, I just want to echo that, you know, we certainly, you know, at the high school level are, you know, we certainly understand those concerns. We see them as well. We do do a lot of what we can do to try to address some of those things with the students and really teach them about professionalism. Ms. Hobbs, who's on the call, who spoke earlier, works with every one of our classes and goes in and really works through with the students on some of those kind of, you know, basic employability skills. She does, you know, interviewing and communications and professionalism and all of those things. And, you know, it is a challenge because it is a much bigger thing than just school, obviously, and just what happens here at school. I will completely agree with what Ellen said and just echo that. I really think that the difference is the students who have the chance to get out of the building and go out to real job sites, even if it's just for a day to shadow someone in that industry actually working, you know, real live jobs. Because, you know, and we know that we were like that too when we were kids, right? Weren't we all, you know, if you hear it from your teacher, if you hear it from your parents, yeah, whatever. But you hear it from somebody else, you hear it from, you know, a boss or a coworker, and all of a sudden it's a much different thing. So, you know, when they get out there and they're actually in the field and, you know, the actual, you know, foreman on the site says to the kid who's shadowing that day, if I hire you and you come here and do that, you're not going to work here long. Suddenly the kid looks at it a lot differently. So we are always open to those opportunities because, you know, we can only provide as much of that as we have opportunities to give to the students. So, you know, that said, motivation and the whole appeal, if you will, of careers in these fields is an ongoing monumental iceberg to move. And that's certainly also something we are all working really hard to address, I know. I won't speak for my colleague, but I'm sure that they are the same. And I know they're the same, that, you know, we do spend time with our middle school students. And even last year before the pandemic started, I was in elementary schools presenting at 5th grade job fairs about some of these fields. And we are, as a CTE group, we are constantly pushing back with some of those notions of, you know, what does it mean for a student to be successful? And that, you know, not every student needs to go to college to have a great job. And that is a societal shift that happened at some point. Totally agree. And it is something that we're, of course, working really hard with. So to that end, one of the things that does really help is when we can, you know, when we can say to those parents who just cannot reconcile maybe that, you know, there's almost this sense of mourning I've seen in parents when their students choose to come here to CTA and the student's doing really well. And I know they're going to go out and get a career and be making, you know, $80,000 a year before you know it. And yet the parent has this like sadness because their kid isn't going to college. One of the things that really, really helps with that is when I do my presentations and I can talk about the articulations that we have with CSM and the importance of those industry certifications and, you know, the prestige that comes with holding them, especially as someone that is still a high school student, that a lot of times helps get our parents on board. And they really do a lot to steer and guide their kids and really set the stage of whether it's going to be okay for that student to pursue something. We continue to push back against all of those kind of stereotypes that exist, unfortunately, about the work. But it's a long shift. So anything that our community business partners can do to help us, if you have people who are willing to come in and be guest speakers to classes, who can talk about their experiences, who can, you know, the more diverse representation of those speakers that we can get is extremely helpful. You know, if I could get some women in the construction fields to come in and talk to my students in classes, that would be amazing. And it would probably help us in, you know, the students, the more they can see other people like them in the classes, in the field, I think the more likely they are to consider pursuing those options. So, so reach out. We're here. We know what those issues are, and we are working hard to combat them, but we also need your help as well.
Thank you, Carrie. Mary Jane, and then Grant.
Okay. This is Mary Jane Self, and I work directly with the students of the Tech Jobs Rule Apprenticeship Program. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. And I just want to give some information. I agree with what everybody has said, the last couple people that have been speaking, but just to give you some information about Tech Jobs Rule Apprenticeship Program. Right now, we're working with 11 of our programs at the Tech Center, and they are welding, production engineering, IT academy, engineering, electrical wiring, CAD, aviation, auto refinishing, auto tech, diesel, and carpentry. That's not to say that we wouldn't pull in other classes, but that's what we're working with right now. And we're looking for companies to mentor these students, to bring them on. I will tell you that I go and meet with the mentors and the student apprentices at least once a month, and they are graded solely on their soft skills. So, you know, we hear what you're saying. We were grading them on some of their technical skills. We do discuss those skills in the meetings that we have, but they get their grades solely from those soft skills. Because we know that's very important. Our students are placed with apprentices based on our teachers recommending the students first, and then they interview with the company, and then the company has freedom to choose whoever they would like to bring on board. So we do hear you loud and clear that we need students that are going to come to work hard, be on time, stay off their phones. Those are all things that I grade them on within the program. So with that being said, we need companies, we need businesses, we need mentors. If you're interested, Mary Kay Myers spoke a little bit earlier. She's probably your first point of contact, but I'll be happy to field questions as well, or you know, move your name along to her, but she does that initial contact.
Thank you, Mary Jane. Great information. And then Grant.
Thanks, Ellen. I guess, Bill, you know, I'm with IEC, and we're a employer association with over 150 electrical contractors, and we're the largest 4-year apprenticeship program in the state of Maryland. We're about to hit 900 apprentices. And what our position has been working together within the industry. So some of my advice to you would be, even though you have competitors out there, you guys are probably all dealing with the same problems in terms of finding that workforce. And what our members did is that they committed 3 years ago to allowing me to hire a full-time staff person to solely focus on workforce. And, you know, I'm pleased, and Becky got off the phone, but Kevin's still on the phone. I mean, as Becky mentioned, we're launching the pre-apprenticeship program in 2 weeks down at Charles County. We have 14 students. And we expect to place all 14 of those seniors when they graduate. And then we're going to be transitioning to the school to apprenticeship model with Charles County for the 21-22 school year. Next up is Calvert. For the 21-22 school year, we'll start with pre-apprentice there and then move into school to apprenticeship by 22-23. So we are creating a system to approach this holistically, and I think that's what industries need to do in order to meet these labor needs, because these labor needs aren't going away. Our partners, whether it be in post-secondary over at CSM or in K through 12, quite frankly, they don't have the resources. And if you can come in with other like-minded employers, I really think that helps them to build capacity for your industry or for anyone's industry at a whole. They're challenged by the same thing that you as a business owner and I am as running an association. It's time. So if you can bring capacity to programming, I think that's the way that I would encourage you to approach it. And through the Maryland Department of Labor, there is a significant amount of grant funding that you would probably be eligible to apply for to help start this approach for your industry.
Grant, that's an excellent, excellent comment. Excellent comment. We can't do this without industry, and we want to talk with our industry partners and bring them together so that we can come up with comprehensive solutions. So Ruthie, you want to give closing remarks and next steps?
Well, I'd just like to thank everyone for your time this morning. This was a valuable conversation. Bill, if you wouldn't mind, I'd love to have a follow-on conversation with you about your needs. I put my email in the chat box. So if you wouldn't mind, I would love to further this conversation. And for everyone else, we appreciate your time and your input. I'm so pleased that Career and Technical Education has joined into these discussions. It's very, very valuable. So thank you all. I appreciate it. And we'll see you again in April.
Yes.
In the meantime, please feel free to reach out with anything that you need or want to discuss or begin a discussion around.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.